Alright, next we're going to review the NES Max, which is another turbo controller. And the only other turbo controller I have besides the NES Advantage. So let's try it out. It looks pretty funky, and yeah, the B and A are diagonal too. One reason this is worse than the NES Advantage, even though they're diagonal too, but at least they're bigger buttons. So you can't really miss the buttons. So that makes up for it. But these are normal size buttons and they're diagonal, so then that's unacceptable. So let's test it out on a game like, how about Legend of Zelda? Yeah. Hang on, I have to block it because my real name is there. My real name. Put my real name there, so we'll use my file, I guess. Now, the D-pad, you could use it like this, but it's so far apart, and this is awkward for control, so you might think, use the joystick. The joystick doesn't work, you have to push it all the way so that it pushes the D-pad button. This is you have to require so much effort and force just to push right, left, up, or down. That's bad enough on its own. But let's see how the buttons work. Start. Works obviously just how it would normally work. Select works like it does. We don't have to say much about that. So I hit the joystick and the buttons being diagonal. Now B, use A. Probably thinking, we don't see any turbo yet. Well, these buttons down here below. The turbo, it says turbo underneath them. The turbo button below the B button is basically the B button in turbo form. So you just like hang on. So just hold it. Now let's see the A button, the one below the A button is the A button turbo. See? Works fine. So overall I like the NES Advantage more, but this one works too, I guess. Let's test it out on one more game. Let's try it out on Metroid, why not? Plug it in. Oop. So you jump. A button, B button, fire pellets. I mean, just bullets, whatever. So, this would work the same for Mega Man, just fire. Almost. The bullet shooting, at least. Grab the rolling ability. Push it down. Oh my god, it's so hard to control. Now let's try the turbo button. Oh yeah. Now turbo's good for stuff like Metroid then. Except for the jumping part. I want to jump high, not this. But for shooting, it's definitely worth it. Alright, now we got one last thing to test out. And that is the legendary, one and only game Genie. Okay, so I'm going to show you how it works. If you're lucky enough, you'll also have the Game Genie instruction manual and or code book, which I think comes with the Game Genie. If it doesn't, then wow, idiots. So it may be confusing as to how you put this in. in somewhat instructions on the back, and there's instructions in the front of the somewhere in the start of the manual. So you do, you grab a game, any game, and you place it nice inwards. You plug it into this part, nice, like so. There. Plug it in, make sure it's secure, and then you push it in very gently and carefully. You don't want to mess with the Game Genie. All the way, and I mean all the way. And now obviously the game is going to stick out because it's connected to the Game Genie. You need to make sure the Game Genie's plugged in, the actual Game Genie's plugged in, and the game will, and the Mario Brothers you've attached to the Game and the game you've attached to the Game Genie will be linked to it. Now push it and make sure apparently that the thing needs to be right here to make sure securely. It has to be like that. I'm not sure why, but it just does. Let's turn it on. Didn't work. Secure it. Hang on. Yeah. Come on. There we go. Game Genie. Okay. Now you got a simple drawing code, and you got some letters to use the code with. It's not the entire alphabet. Now, since we plugged in Super Mario Brothers, you're gonna look up in the Game Genie manual, just like you would in an encyclopedia. You'll find the game Super Mario Brothers. So let's flip through the pages, yada yada yada. So we find it. Okay. Alright, where is it? So there we go. Super Mario Brothers. Now, I'm gonna grab the game. Hold the. Alright, so, yeah. Now you look up some codes. You can have up to 3 codes, and unless the instruction book itself says otherwise, or I mean the code book. So let's see. I want to do the infinite lives code. Right. Hang on. The infinite lives code. Now, you'll see to the left, the code is listed. Hang on if I can. So, let's type in that code. S X I O P O. And we'll go down to the next code. Alright. I want to do super mega jumps. So. No, mega jumps. GAZU. AP. Hang on, so let's type in the code. A P Z L G K. I think that's all I'm gonna do for codes actually. Now you push start and it'll send you to the regular game. And you won't notice much different until you actually until you actually start playing. And I notice I typed the infinite lives code. Infinite lives stayed at 3. Okay, but the code I typed in earlier didn't work. Whatever. That's basically all of it. So, Lego 8 Gamer here. I am out. By the way, if you do know what this is, trick stick, looks like it's something for the Xbox because that's left trigger, right trigger, A, B, X, Y, and I'm assuming left bumper, right bumper. I don't know. There's buttons here. I'm assuming it's for the old Xbox or something. Look, here's the plug. I don't know. Can you tell me what this is for? What it does? Because I seriously don't know. Bye.